Kit Kats Can Read. Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a non-spoiler book review video on Sadie by Courtney Summers. So this is my first ever book by this author. I know she's written other books that are apparently like really good as well. So this is my first time reading. I was reading this around the hype of the book as well, and I was actually amazed to find that I didn't get too drawn into the hype. I sort of was reading it as my own book. I listened to this on the audiobook on the Scribd app, and I was also reading this as an ebook, so I managed to get it as an ebook. Now I just want to say as a disclaimer that this is a book that I own myself, I suppose, because I sort of have a Scribd membership and also I own the ebook, so it's not going to affect my opinion on the book whatsoever. It's just my true opinion only, so I just want to say that as a quick disclaimer to this video. So Sadie is a story that is told in like a podcast sort of view. So we've got one side that's a podcast that's about the story, and then we've got one side that's Sadie telling her perspective. I thought this was really sort of interesting take. Now I know this has received mixed reviews, so some people sort of don't really like the take on the podcast, some people do. I was one of those people where I sort of liked it. I liked the intake and I liked the idea of it. This is basically about Sadie's younger sister who ends up going missing and then eventually ends up getting killed. So Sadie has gone after trying to find the person who killed her younger sister and also try and survive herself. So she's kind of going on an adventure. She's sort of like driving off and she's sort of investigating into it as well. And the podcast is about the girls, who is Sadie and her younger sister, and they're sort of like kind of a step behind. So they're trying to find Sadie, who is also gone missing. So it's a really interesting thriller story. It's a mystery as well, and I thought that was really interesting, and especially to read during like the autumn time and the winter time when we really like to read our thrillers. So I thought it was really good and definitely very atmospheric, and I do recommend listening to the audiobook of this because there is a full cast. Everybody has a voice. Sadie has a voice. You've got like the podcast person that's doing the podcast, he's got a voice, and even the people that he's investigating, like the people that looked after Sadie and Matty. I definitely recommend that, but you can read from the book as well, because I was reading from the ebook when I wasn't listening to the audiobook, so it can be done, but I think it sort of adds a little edge to the story by listening to the audiobook. So this book is a standalone novel, and it's one of those books that has a very open ending, so it can sort of lead you to your imagination basically, which for me I'm not too keen on because I like things to be wrapped up, which is why in series, if it's going to end openly, I need a sequel. It made me feel a little bit unhappy that it had an open ending, and I would like to know more, especially when it comes to like mysteries and that. I like things to be solved, and I like people to be found, for people to change, and for this to happen. Like I just like to see different things happen in the end of books. And it's really hard to sort of explain that without spoiling you guys in this book. All I can say is just that it has a very open ending to your imagination. So with all the characters in the book, you don't know what happens next with any of them, because it doesn't end like most books end, where just sort of like happy ending, la da da. It sort of ends with an imaginative opening where you can sort of think, hey, what's going to happen next with the podcast? What's going to happen next with this? If you're not a fan of open endings, I probably wouldn't suggest you read this book because it might annoy you, might upset you. For me, I was just like, oh, that's a tad annoying, but I'll get over it because there are some books that unfortunately are like that. I can't really say if I had a favourite part of this book. I mean, there was a part of this book that I did really like, and that is when Sadie met a character along the way who was another female character, and it was like there was a friendship there. I really sort of liked that part, but if I had a least favourite part, it probably could be the end, in the fact that it's so open. But there was also a bit that I really didn't like that was sort of near the end, but not liking it because like I didn't like it. It's just sort of like like, because it's a thriller, I didn't like it in the sense of like it made me not like it. So it's sort of like made to make you not like it, if that makes sense. So I'm just sort of like, whoa, this is all happening, and it's just sort of like horrific and all that. So that's like the least favourite book, but that's a good thing. So it's kind of a good least favourite, if that makes sense. So the book, how it affected me, it sort of like makes you realise like this thing really happens, and that it's scary. I was just like, whoa. So it did really affect me, and even when finishing the book I was like, whoa, this is a good book. And I always like finishing books and getting that rush feeling of like, oh, this book was really good and interesting. So in the end, guys, I gave this book 5 out of 5 Kit Kats. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was empowering. I thought it was a really good story. I really liked how it was structured with the podcast versus Sadie. I like how we were sort of one step behind, like with the podcast, and eventually sort of catching up. I really liked that. So I'm just seeing it from both sides, the missing parts that Sadie hasn't ventured into versus what Sadie is doing. I really enjoyed it, and I like the mystery aspect to it, and I liked sort of as Sadie was chasing after the suspected killer. I really liked that, and yeah, I thought it was different and interesting, and that's why I really enjoyed it. So I definitely recommend for people to give it a read, especially during this time of the year. I think it's really good, and especially if you really enjoy your thrillers and your mysteries, it's definitely recommended, and I feel like you would honestly enjoy it. So there you have it, guys. That is my non-spoiler book review video on Sadie by Courtney Summers. So I hope that you guys do end up enjoying this book, and if you have read this book, let me know down below your thoughts on it. Even if you didn't like it, I think it's really great when people just have different opinions on books, so that we can talk about it. You can discuss the points that you like, points that you don't like. So if you've read this book, let me know what you think about the ending, let me know what you think about certain points of the book, and we can talk about it. Or if you want to talk in private so we don't spoil other people, feel free to message me. But that's it from me. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up so that I know that you did enjoy it. And if you'd like to see more of these review videos, and let me know as well if there's a book that you're like, Katie, you should read it and review that. I'd like to see your thoughts on it. Comment it down below as well. If you're new to my channel, if you'd like to see more of my videos, then please feel free to subscribe to my channel. It would honestly make my day. I upload videos all the time. There's no specific schedule. I just simply upload whenever my mood sort of fits, or sort of around my schedule, because I do shift work. So if you don't mind, that sort of thing. But any comments and any thoughts down below would mean the whole world to me. All of my social media links will be linked down below in the description box as well, if you'd like to follow me elsewhere. That's Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat even, and I've also got my blog, I've got my Goodreads. There's loads of places that you can follow me, so feel free to do that. But all in all, guys, thank you very much for watching my video. As always, keep smiling, keep reading, and be happy. My name is Katie, and I will see all of you wonderful, awesome people in my next video. Bye!